After 5 years of working as a sustainability consultant, fully remote across a wide range of projects, I found myself coming back to the same question. Is moving to freelance consulting really worth it? And the honest answer is it's not that simple. This path has given me a lot of flexibility and a lot of opportunities to learn, but it has also challenged me. And overall, this experience has changed how I think about impact, value, and even how I want to work long term. So, in this video, I want to share some honest lessons from my experience, what worked, what didn't, and was starting a freelance consulting career worth it. One of the biggest advantages of consulting has been the sheer variety of projects. Over these 5 years, I worked with a large forestry company with over 100 million in turnover. I've helped Baltic VC funds like First Pick VC and Practical Capital build their ESG policies and due diligence processes from scratch. I've spent 10 months embedded in an Estonian manufacturing tech startup Evocon, doing everything from customer interviews to writing their green manufacturing landing page. I've done a 3 month research sprint with Mapon, a fleet management company, to help their leadership understand what sustainability means for mobility industry. And I've run custom training sessions for in-house teams, as well as part of Sustainability Reporting Institute training courses. So in one project, I'm developing an ESG strategy, organizing a double materiality assessment, and presenting my findings to the board and management. And in the next one, I'm doing market research and interviewing customers. And then I'm writing copy for a website or leading a crash course for a sales team. Every engagement has helped me to learn something new, a new industry, a new regulation, or how to deliver a solution for a particular need for a company. And on top of client work, I also started this YouTube channel, put together a live ESG strategy know-how training course, and managed to be somewhat active on LinkedIn and maintain a somewhat representative website. Each of these tasks have sharpened my communication skills in ways I didn't really expect. But now, how does this compare to working in-house at one company? I think the honest answer is that I have learned more and faster as a consultant. But it's also very different from the learning that takes place when you're in-house. For example, when I was at Printful, their sustainability manager, I went deep into one company's context. I understood the internal dynamics, the politics, the long-term evolution of processes, as well as the industry specifics. As a consultant, I've traded that depth for a broader view of the industry. I've seen how very different organizations, a software startup or a state-owned corporation, approach the same fundamental questions about sustainability. And that learning experience across contexts is something I don't think I would get from only working in one company. Then, from another perspective, there's something I didn't fully understand when I was starting out. As I just shared, I worked on a good mix of projects, and all of those were valuable. But over time, I started noticing that not all projects are equally impactful. With some of the shorter projects, the work was good and the clients got what they needed, but I wasn't sure of the actual difference my work made. Yeah, I can raise awareness, I can spark a conversation, but then what? Sustainability, in my opinion, isn't something you solve in 3 months or in one workshop. If I compare that to longer engagements, the impact is a lot more significant, a lot more tangible. For example, when I worked with Bono Group, forest resource management company, I was involved for about 6 months to help develop the sustainability strategy, and then later on another 12 months to support strategy implementation, support the new talent who will lead sustainability internally, as well as help develop sustainability report. Another example is my work with Sustainability Reporting Institute. Over time, I see how things play out. And that's something that you often miss if you are only consulting for a short period of time. I also realize I can develop my skills and specialize in delivering the best possible outcomes for a particular business. In both cases, that transformation and evolution don't happen in one off deliverable. And I think that's the key realization. Sustainability is a process, not a project. It's very much an internal culture, it's change management, and it is a continuous improvement cycle. And as a professional, I can add the most value when I'm there for that whole journey. Next, I want to share an observation about sustainability as a field. Although for people working in this industry, it might not seem like it, it still is relatively new. And when I started out 5 years ago, sustainability consulting was defined more vaguely than it is today. It took me quite some time to figure out how to position myself, how to define who my ideal client is, or what my core offer should be. And honestly, the field kept shifting under my feet. Early on, a lot of my work was about awareness, helping companies understand why sustainability matters and what's the business opportunity from pursuing it. But then SFDR came in, and suddenly VC funds needed ESG policies. Then CSRD changed the game for larger companies, and the conversation shifted to compliance, double materiality assessment, and reporting. Then last year, Omnibus proposal again changed the playing field and reduced the scope of CSRD. And as a result, the VSME standard, which also came out very recently, became a lot more relevant. Each regulatory wave brought new types of clients with new kinds of needs. And that constant evolution made it hard to niche down. I was working with tech startups, forestry companies, investment funds, fleet management business, larger companies, smaller companies, different kind of projects and tasks. And all of them were completely different worlds. And while that variety was great for learning, it did make it harder to say, this is exactly who I serve and this is exactly what I offer. If I could go back, I think it would have been good to narrow my focus a little bit earlier. Then again, in a field that's still maturing, some amount of discovery and experimentation is unavoidable. You can't niche down before you understand the landscape. And the landscape was literally being built while I was working in it. Now, everything I've shared so far has been mostly about the work itself. But there's a whole other side to this journey that doesn't show up in case studies. And that's what it does to you internally, mentally, and how it impacts you. When you run your own thing, it's your own responsibility to make sure you gather feedback and reflect what you did well and what requires improvements. There's no annual review, no manager organizing regular one-on-ones to check in on you. No one else who has the bigger picture figured out for you. It's literally just me, my computer, and a very honest mirror, my own results and my own progress. If I would need to summarize what has been the biggest mental or internal feeling throughout this whole journey, I think it was and still somewhere is fear. So there's the fear of failure, fear of messing up a project a client has trusted me with, messing up work that I find meaningful and important. There's also fear of selling my consulting service, even if I don't know 100% of the answers, as I'm also learning as I go. But there's also fear of judgment, putting myself out there as a sustainability professional, presenting my ideas in a boardroom or here through this YouTube channel. All of it opens me up to other people's opinions. And when your business is essentially you, those opinions can feel more personal. But here's what I've also learned. running a business forces you to work on these things. You don't really have a choice, to be fair. If I didn't address my relationship with rest, for example, I would burn out. If I didn't set boundaries around my time, my work would easily take over all my life. If I didn't confront the fear, I would stop taking the risks that actually need to be taken to move things forward. So, in a strange way, the consulting has been one of the most powerful personal development experiences of my life. If I look back at how I felt in the first year of Your Impact House and now, I see a significant change in my ability to work with myself to overcome any challenges I face. For example, this video. This is the third time I'm filming it, and it's been so frustrating. First time I sat down and I realized the script isn't good enough and I cannot actually go through with it because it's not done. Also, I had limited time and I was feeling under pressure, and that's not a good setup for me. Then a couple of hours earlier, I filmed a video. It was done. I was looking at it in my computer. I took out an SSD card from the computer and then I tried to put it back in and it just is burned. It doesn't work anymore. And this is the third time I'm filming this. I was really upset after the second time and I thought I'm gonna give up. But then I realized that I would be really sad if I didn't film this. 5 years of this freelance consulting journey is a big achievement for me, and I wanted to share what I have learned. So I have one more point left and then I'm gonna wrap up. The last and final point I want to share is something that actually surprised me the most. I didn't expect to miss having a team as much as I do. When you work in-house, you take for granted the ability to just turn to someone and say, hey, what do you think about this? As a freelance consultant, that's mostly gone. I am making the decisions. I'm reviewing my own work and I'm deciding what's good enough. So it took me a while to recognize that this was actually missing. Of course, throughout this time, I have been very lucky to work with amazing people. And I've also been pretty diligent about networking with other sustainability professionals to share knowledge and experiences. But more recently, I've been especially enjoying the work that I do at the Sustainability Reporting Institute. It's been a year and a half at the moment, and I really appreciate being part of a team, not needing to figure out everything on my own, being able to talk things through and improve them through collaboration. So if you're considering the freelance path, just know that the freedom is real, but so is the solitude. And as we wrap up, let me answer, was it really worth it? If I'm measuring by personal and professional growth, absolutely. I've learned more in these 5 years than I think I could have in any single role. I also benefited from the flexibility and freedom that this path offers, but it comes with real trade-offs. Uncertainty is real, so are the moments of isolation, and a constant need to confront yourself in ways that regular job might not require. So if you're considering a freelance sustainability consultant path, here's what I would say. I think there is no right answer for these kind of questions in life. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Each path will have its pros and cons. Choose the path that serves you the best. I hope you found this video useful, and I would love to hear your experience in the comments. And if you have any questions, also feel free to just post them. Thanks for watching the very honest reflection, and take care.